Right, lads, you've seen the livery from last year's car. Get ready for Season 4, the actual livery. It looks a little bit like this. Boom! Dark mode has been enabled on the Season 4 car for my team. Let me know what you guys think of it. Personally, I think it looks amazing. I didn't think that the white livery could get topped, but we've inverted the colors. And look at that, it's an absolute beast. We keep a lot of the same sponsors. Razor perhaps takes a little bit of a backward step in terms of its exposure. Louis Vuitton, a current sponsor on the car, but it's taken more of a mainstay, as you can see on the rear engine cover and on the rear wing. So yeah, more on that later, but for the time being we have a pretty good looking car. Let me know what you think. Do you prefer that livery that I've just shown you, or do you like the livery that Codemasters made for me even more? Honestly, they both have their positives. It's going to be pretty darn tricky choosing between the two of them, but Semi made me this one, so I'm going to stick with this one, and we're going to use the Codemasters one in another series to come out very, very soon. Anyway, let's get back to some actual racing, or the parts that actually contribute to performance of the racing, and that is the upgrades. We're going to do some durability stuff. We are lacking big time compared to some of the other teams in Formula 1, and the quicker we address these durability issues, the better we can get on with our season and take less engine components. We're still running a long season, 16 races. Durability is going to come into it if we neglect that side of performance. So, we're going to swiftly work on that as we go along. But, resource points are coming in a lot faster than what they were previously in Season 3. So, I'd like to think that by the halfway point, we should have a maxed out car again. So we've got that to look forward to, and it's just a case of extracting as many points as we can while the car is not as good as what it was at the end of last season. It's a similar prospect we find ourselves in compared to the start of Season 3. Again, we're playing catch up. By mid-season, we could be up there as the best car, but we've really got to consolidate as many points as we can, and we've got to make sure that Daniel Ricciardo, more crucially, gets big points. Anyway, a lot of things coming in. Good resource points coming in, good cash flow coming in. We'll be able to update some facility stuff. We haven't actually done that since the start of the last episode, so let's see what we can do now. I do want to favor durability, since that is what we're going to be doing the majority of our upgrades for now. We'll do build time, that's 10 mil. It just means we can get in more durability upgrades faster, so why the hell not? We haven't got any other things that need our desperate attention in terms of cash flow, so that's where it's going to go. Anything else? We've got 800 resource points again, so they really flow in quite quickly now with some of the department events we get, which boost the resource points, or the extra perk we have for extra resource points every week. So we're going to do ICE, we're going to make that more robust. We certainly need to make the engine more reliable, because that nearly cost us a championship last season. What was it, 2 DNFs? Maybe a third, and then a few for my teammates. So, yeah, let's hopefully put those issues behind us now. As we head into Imola, a race in Italy, which we are seeing in real life this weekend. So, really cool to see that we're aligned with the real life season. We've overtaken Alpine, and it looks like AlphaTauri is running with us with those upgrades. So, big momentum gained heading into this race. As we head into Monaco and Baku, well, we could be up there in the mix, well and truly, with the big guys, but we're still that little step away from the rest of them. And as we head into practice now, you can see my struggles of trying to get the car up to speed. It is very, very quick, but we've gone aggressive with the setup in order to hopefully bridge the gap between us and the rest, and it means that the car is on edge a little bit at this circuit. Tyres are really screaming for mercy, but otherwise, we'll drive around the issues and hopefully the pace will be there. Alright, here we go for one of my favorite tracks to drive, honestly, on this game. It's up there with Austria as just one of those really fun circuits where you can throw the car around and it's just very satisfying to drive. So, yeah, we're going to head out there very shortly. That's the setup that we're running with. Quite aggressive on the rear suspension and anti-roll bars. Those coupled together make the car quite oversteery. But I guess it's required at a circuit like this where you got a lot of short, sharp corners and require that quick direction change. We just got to be as quick as the car in our reactions to make sure we don't, oversteer into a barrier pretty much. So, first lap done, 11.4. We're in between Mazepin and Tichtum. Oh, in between Vettel now. It's not really the place you want to be. Bottas walking us there a little bit on the start of our second lap. We get that all mucked up and... well, that's the end of that run. I think we're going to do a cool down lap, and we're probably going to go again on this set of tyres. We do have the fuel to do so. Vettel catching up to myself and Bottas, who gets in the way. And now Vettel doesn't have a front wing. Nice one, Bottas. But we get through Q1 with our banker time, 11.3. Not good pace, at least compared to Ricardo. Ricardo's 5 tenths away, which is... decent. We're in the mix, but where is my pace? Where is it? I honestly don't know. I've gone high downforce. I feel like I was really maximizing the corners, to be honest. Maybe the car's too draggy, though. It's hard to believe that's the case because there's only one straight, major straight, and we're actually one of the fastest cars in the speed trap. So go figure. Anyway, we're heading to Q2 now, where we're using a used set of softs from Q1. And that is very easy to do over using the throttle. Easily done. We move on. Oh, dear. Yeah, the struggles continue. The struggles continue in Q2. I told you this was an aggressive setup, and we really are going for it on this used set of tires, and it's actually very easy to do that. I'm surprised we haven't actually done that more in career mode because the car is really on the edge with these upgrades. The engine's so powerful. We're running quite aggressive with the suspension to get the maximum out of it, and that just happens. The tires were pretty warm from that opening lap anyway, so those tires will swiftly get chucked in the bin. 11.5, 2 tenths slower than our previous best in Q1. We'll chuck on a new set of tires in a few minutes' time, wait for the track to evolve a little bit, and then we'll hopefully make the best of the conditions. 17 seconds to go, so this is our last lap of the session, and hopefully we can make it into Q3 for the first time this season. It's only been 2 races, but still, it would be nice to break that duck. Ricardo's been threatening, or it looks likely that he's going to be into Q3 in this race meeting. What can we say of us, though? The defending champion, number 1 on the car. We can't be absent from Q3s all too often. 2 tenths up as we approach the 3rd sector. Lost a little bit of time in that chicane, which you guys didn't see. I had a really good run through there last time, through the last corner. Probably could have used a little bit more exit space there. 2.5 tenths up as we approach the line. Open DRS, and that is not good enough to get through to qualifying 3. This time a lot closer, 10.6. So we did find a lot of time from old tyres to new tyres, and actually a front wing change. We went up on the front wing. We went from 9.8 to 10.8, and I feel like that did make a sizable difference, but just lacking that extra 10.5 to get through to Q3. Honestly, my lap was really good. There's not too much I could have improved on. Maybe the low speed is where I was lacking compared to the AI, but P13, it was a great lap, and I can't be unhappy with it. So we'll move on to the race, where hopefully we can score big.
Tough luck there. It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters in red today. They've all turned out for what we have every expectation of being a sensational event here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
Let's discuss Red Bull. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. but this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Pierre Gasly and Hamilton, Ocon, Ricciardo, Armstrong and Daniel Ticktum, Norris, Eilert, Benjamin and Stroll.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Hello. This might be the answer to my prayers this weekend. It is now raining for the start of this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Now, you know, when you're not on the pace in the dry, a bit of a shake-up is always welcome. So we're going to give this a red-hot go as we start this race. We're going to keep the 10-8 wings in an effort to, well, make the most of the conditions in the rain, because you're always faster when you chuck on more downforce in the rain, at least on this game anyway. So we'll make the most of that, and maybe we'll adjust the wing level accordingly. It will dry up towards the end. So we're probably looking at maybe a short run on the dries, maybe softs. So yeah, for the majority of the race, hopefully we'll have a better advantage than what we did in the dry. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the second race of Season 4. We've not had great luck so far in qualifying, but what can we turn around in the race? So far, it's a position lost as Lance Stroll gets up the line pretty well. Early break into turn 1, didn't want to clatter into the side of anyone. And again, very cautious. Eilert and Stroll going side by side. These two creating a little bit of a rolling roadblock. Stroll squeezes out the McLaren, and we're going to go... No, thought about going up the inside, but again, I'm a little bit tentative under brakes. I don't want to run into the back of these guys. I feel like we might have a pretty quick car, so there's no point chucking it away on the first lap. We do get a position on Ticktum now, so patience is slowly starting to pay off. P12 now, Stroll next, and then we get into the big boys. Honestly, there's not much separating all the top teams. You're either, you know, P12, P13, or you've got race-winning pace. The top 5-6 teams are all identical on pace. Yellow flag back there. I think that's one of the Aston Martins. It must be Sebastian Vettel, who's had a horror weekend getting caught up with Valtteri Bottas earlier on the weekend. We got the inside of Lance Stroll, and that is Vettel out of the Grand Prix, confirmed. We'll hopefully get a replay of what happened, but there is the VSC getting deployed. Here's the replay of us getting up the inside of the Alpine, which was a nice little move there, and it is a retirement failure of sorts for Sebastian Vettel. What a horror weekend for him. He'll want to swiftly move on to the next one. There's actually someone behind Vettel who's only just coming up to overtake them now. Wow, they must be having a bad race. But VSC has been deployed. We're now going to take this opportunity to fuel burn, because actually we weren't able to underfuel the car at the start of the race. Normally in dry conditions, in dry conditions for a start, you're able to run the predicted, or... Oh, there's Vettel's car still there. Lovely stuff. Basically, because I did my race practice program in the dry, it gives me a fuel burn number, gives me a tyre wear number. But because it was raining for the start of this race, the game wouldn't let me run my own predicted fuel burn rates, and I couldn't lower the fuel load to a number that I wanted to. Anyway, we're overfueled is what I'm trying to say. And I did my best to burn some fuel. I burnt barely any because the VSC only lasted about 30 seconds. The VSC ended before Vettel's car was even cleared, so I don't know what the deal was there. But anyway, we're back underway for green flag running, and you can see we get a nice run on Lando Norris out of that chicane. The traction there for us is actually really good, and it sets us up nicely for moves up the inside into the penultimate corner. Lovely stuff. We're now in the top 10, and to get a scalp like McLaren is massive. McLaren are up there as one of the best cars. So if we can overtake Norris, we can pretty much overtake anyone inside the top 10. Armstrong is next. He is real. AlphaTauri, man. They are really punching above their weight this season. It's amazing to see. Pretty much a rookie is up here fighting with the likes of myself, Ricardo, the Mercedes, not far up the road. I'm actually having a really tough time trying to overtake him. I got past Norris, and my progress has been thwarted a little bit. It's been very tough to make any ground on this guy until now. We get very close in the braking zone and get a great exit out of the traction zone of the chicane. And now we might be close enough to have a dive into the penultimate corner once again. This is our corner right here, and it all starts from the exit phase of that last chicane. We're now up in the 9th place, and our race is starting to open up for us now. Ricardo next, equal machinery. I fancy this guy. That sounds wrong. I fancy getting past this guy. And we are equal straight line speed. I feel like it might be easier to get past Ricardo than anyone else. I feel like we have been maybe a little bit slower than some other people. Nice moment there. Nice save as we got caught up on the curb on the exit of the first chicane. But yeah, I feel like because of our very high downforce, it's making us... It's proving to be very difficult to make overtakes work for us. We're having to overtake in, I guess, unorthodox areas. This corner right here isn't an unorthodox area, but just having to get amazing drive traction by sending the car through the chicane is the only chance I think we have of making overtakes, at least in the intermediate conditions before the DRS gets enabled. Again, great exit out of here. Ricardo a little bit slow. This is a bit far to make a dive bomb, but we're going to send it anyway. No team orders here at Marduk Motorsport. Even if it is the team boss round the outside, Ricardo tries to make it stick, but is unable to do so. We got a little bit compromised by having to run side by side through the last corner, and Ricardo is having a little bit of an answer back here. Side by side, down the start finish straight. Here comes Marcus Armstrong. Round the... Oh my, ticked him. Nearly collecting his teammate as we go round the outside of our teammate at turn 2. And that is us up in 8th place in this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton 4 seconds up the road. Here's the whole gaggle of cars that we just saw. Lando Norris flying up into another couple of positions. But that has really screwed the teammate of the AlphaTauri. And the other McLaren is spinning. That's Callum Ilott. So Callum has just overtaken about 3 cars there. Thought his Christmas has come early, and then he bins it. Unlucky, mate. That is unlucky indeed. I bet he was so happy. It's just shaking his rhythm. Forgot about the next corner, and he's thrown it away. Zach Brown will not be happy. Yeah, McLaren have definitely taken a risk by signing a young driver like Ilott with minimal experience, but that's just going to happen occasionally. So, yeah, that's a bit of a dilemma for McLaren at the moment. They need to put their trust and confidence in Callum, because he might be the future for that team. Who knows where Norris is going to go? Could go to Mercedes at the end of the season, or who knows where. But Lando's still young himself. Anyway, we are coming to the end of this first stint here on the intermediate tyres. Max Verstappen.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Oh, hello. New strategy. We're going to take that opportunity to actually dive in straight away for a set of dry compound tyres. We've noticed the track has been drying, but I got that message from Jeff right at the last second. I had to respond. Otherwise, I'd probably have to stay out the extra lap and hold up my teammate Ricardo. So it was a split-second decision. I'm sorry I didn't warn you guys about that, but hopefully we've made the right call. The track is very, very damp, but a dry line is there. It very much is there. Hopefully we can keep the temperature in the tyres. It seems like that is the case, and the grip is actually really good. So the track looks a bit rubbish, but it's certainly ready for dry tyres, at least the way that they're responding. Max and the race leaders are in for their dry compound tyres. Charles Leclerc looks like taking the lead of the Grand Prix, potentially, as Lewis Hamilton has carried on for another lap on intermediate tyres. So the Mercedes and the Ferraris were unable to respond quick enough. Both their cars had to do another lap after I did. And as such, they didn't want to double stack, so they've left out Sainz to dry, literally, and Lewis Hamilton has been hung out to dry as well, to the point where we might actually get potentially both of them here as we set the fastest We did have the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We overtake Lewis Hamilton. We're very close to Carlos Sainz as we approach the first chicane. And we are in the mix with these guys for the rest of the Grand Prix. That undercut onto dry compound tyres has brought us back into the game here in this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Here comes my teammate on Lando Norris around the outside at the first corner. What a move from Danny Rick. Hopefully that's the start of things to come. He's probably not having the confidence in that car until now.
Norris is behind you. The gap to the car behind is 2.2 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are 1 lap old. We think they've got one more stop. It looks like the car behind has a small amount of damage to the front wing, but it doesn't seem to be affecting performance.
Oh, hello. Norris with damage, but crucially, Jeff saying he has to stop again. There's only 11 laps left to go in this race. I thought it was a slam dunk, easy one stop to the end on softs. I mean, we are going aggressive. We are going to see some considerable tyre wear by the end of the Grand Prix. But I thought with Season 4, all the tyre wear upgrades that at least the top teams have, I think we're lacking 1 or 2 tyre wear upgrades at this point. Yeah, the AI, I thought they'd be okay. We'd be stretching it, but I thought we'd be in the same boat as everyone else. But turns out everyone on soft compound tyres right now is stopping again. Apart from Lewis Hamilton, who's in the mix with Lando Norris. As you can see, he's going slowly with that damaged wing. I think Jeff was lying about his lack of performance, because his pace certainly is getting knocked around. And here we go. Another stop for the soft compound runners. That is Pierre Gasly, who's running solidly inside the top 3. Carlos Sainz might be the de facto race leader once we factor in pit stops. I know Max Verstappen's leading by a long way, but it might be close between us and him, as we see... What are we seeing? Lap car getting in the way. Hopefully Joe gets out of the way for us. He does. Emerald to press on. We are clinging onto the DRS of Carlos Sainz here, and he's actually dragging us along. Despite having the slower tyre, he's actually got the pace on us for the time being. So we're using his pace to pull away from those behind. Hamilton 5 seconds behind, so we managed to put a good amount of ground on him while he's been stuck trying to get past Lando Norris. And now Sainz is starting to slow. Sainz is starting to look a bit vulnerable on the straights for some reason. I think that maybe he's used a lot of his battery to stay ahead of me, and now he's having to go in more of a recovery mode or use less overtake to keep the position. Meanwhile, Verstappen has made his pit stop, and he's only 1.3 seconds behind us with 5 laps to go in this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. We've got to go. We've got to go for the lead, and we've got to go now. Round the outside of Sainz into turn 1, and we get the job done. Just about get the job done. Sainz is going to have the switch back here into the second chicane. We're going to have to go defensive. No, we won't. We'll hold the racing line. Massive slide on the exit, though. And Sainz is going around the outside into the middle sector. This is for the lead of the Grand Prix. Holding each other up for Max Verstappen to clean us all up. Right rear tyre is overheating due to the sliding. There goes Sainz on the inside into the left-hander. There's no space to run side by side through here. Sainz going around the outside into the double right, and he takes the lead. Are you okay? That was absolutely mental from Carlos Sainz right there. I've never seen an AI with such bravery before. That was absolutely incredible. Sainz takes the lead once again. I think it's okay if we let Sainz go ahead of us. Max Verstappen is the one we need to watch out for. He's the one with the fresh tyres and possibly better battery and definitely better straight line speed. We've got Carlos Sainz covered here. Even though we're out of ERS allotment, we now get a refreshment of that. So we start the next lap, lap 28. Again, round the outside. We're going to go for the move here. Charles Leclerc is catching up in the other Ferrari. He might be on us if this battling continues. But it's happy hour for all the AI. We get past Sainz, and now we've got to hope that Sainz can defend well against Verstappen. He's going to be our leverage. We're going to hope that Sainz can get decent straight line speed, get some DRS off of us on the start finish straight, and we can have this little stalemate that ensues for the rest of the Grand Prix. But Max Verstappen has other ideas. He's going around the outside into the middle sector, and he might make this stick on the better tyres in the better car, and Verstappen is up into P2. Verstappen is in P2. It has a clear shot at us on the next lap. This is not what we need. Verstappen out of nowhere with that traction. I thought we had the best traction out of anyone in this field, but That Red Bull is something else. Our tyres are really going off now, guys. Over 50% on all tyres. This is one of the McLarens. I'm not too sure. I think that's Norris. McLaren are having a shocker today. They're having an absolute shocker for driver mistakes, it seems. I don't think either of them in the points are anymore. But that's a major shame for those guys. Keeping Verstappen at bay, at least on this straight. 3 more times we've got to negotiate that straight, and we might be okay. But look at the overspeed he's got on us. He's really overworking that battery to draw alongside. You can see the slide as we exit that second chicane. The tyres can offer no more. They've well and truly seen their best at this point. Oh my, that's a cut-off on Verstappen. I had to do it though. We're defending for the lead of the Grand Prix. We're playing for keeps in a car that doesn't really belong to be there. We're really getting our elbows out here. Verstappen trying to go around the outside of that first chicane, but that is not going to work. Again, going to have to go defensive into that next bit of the circuit. We managed to fend him off, but here he comes again. Verstappen on the inside. Oh, and again, we can hold our breath for another few corners. Just another few corners, because Verstappen is so fast in that Red Bull. I don't think there's anything I can do on this next DRS straight. He's so close to me now that I think this might be game over. You can see the tyres are starting to get a bit of pickup. The tyres are well and truly seen their best. Over 50, maybe nearing on 60% on the softs now. I didn't think it would be this close. Verstappen's in the pit lane. Verstappen is into the lane on the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix for an unscheduled stop. It must be for a front wing change, but look at the front wing. It's absolutely immaculate. There are no marks on the front of the wing. What about the side? No, it's perfect. Why is he coming in to change the wing? I don't know. He's absolutely thrown the race away to Hamilton, and Leclerc, who's come out of nowhere and is only 5/10ths back. Hamilton on the mediums. Hopefully we can defend against it. What happened to Sainz? Sainz has been overtaken by everyone. And now it's Hamilton and Leclerc challenging me for the race win. This race is crazy. This is absolutely nuts. Charles Leclerc, I think, might be the best positioned out of us three to win the Grand Prix at this point. He goes up the inside of Hamilton at a non-overtaking corner to go up into P2 in this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Here's the dive bomb. Wow. Hamilton has left the space as well. That's an open invitation to take the position, and Leclerc has taken it. Anyway, here we go. Last corner for the penultimate time in this Grand Prix. Here comes Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. At least against Sainz, they didn't have the straight line speed, but Leclerc does. Up the inside on the start-finish straight. I can't defend against that. Leclerc takes the lead of the Grand Prix. I'm going to have to hope for a mistake or an overcommitment into this chicane. But that is not the case. And Leclerc has stolen the lead of the Grand Prix on the last lap. We're down into P2. Hamilton looking pretty strong, as well as the AI are into their OP ERS mode. There's not much I can do here, guys. The tyres have well and truly seen their best. This car is half a second slower than these guys, naturally in terms of pace, but the tyre disadvantage as well is a bit nuts. Hamilton up the inside, and now we've got damage on the left rear end plate. Turns out I was lying on the tyre where I said it was over 50%. We're only at 40 odd, but it feels like 50%. It feels a lot worse than what it is. And now here comes Valtteri Bottas trying to displace me from the podium into the last chicane. Not much space there to go side by side. And it looks like we might just about hold on for P3. Here's Bottas's POV. Horrible line, horrible angle into that corner. He was going nowhere but into the side of me. Very lucky not to spin off my side pod or something. The last corner for us. Honestly, we fought so hard to defend the win, but we just didn't have the pace in the car. P3 it is. Not bad.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
P13 to P3 in this car. We have to take it.
It's a performance that our Emilia Romagna Grand Prix winners can be justifiably proud of. And I'm sure there'll be celebrations tonight.
Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari.
Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
There we go. Charles Leclerc is a race winner in Season 4 of Career Mode. Max Verstappen, what was that? What honestly was that? That race was his for the taking. If he would have stayed out, he would have got DRS and he would have flown past me like Leclerc did on the last lap. That race was his. But instead, he boxed, panicked, got P9. Not good for the standings, at least from his perspective. But yeah, another third place in this car. That is unjustifiably there, but we're doing the best we can. I said our season is very similar to Mercedes, and here we are, like the real life Mercedes, getting podiums. Yeah. Good job, team. Good job. We made the most of the intermediates. We were actually pretty quick in the rain. Not so much in the dry. We made the most of the AI doing an extra stop there. And we've just got our elbows out, basically, while everyone else did the extra stop. P2 in the standings, 13 points behind Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen, after winning the first race, only getting 2 points today. Not a good way to kick off the campaign for him. He'll be kicking himself, given that, you know, it's a replica season to Season 3 in a way. You know, he had a 100-point lead in Season 3 and still lost. He's going to need a 200-point lead to win in this one, potentially. But, yeah, P4 in the standings in the Constructors. Ricardo, what happened to Ricardo? I think he got points or was just outside the top 10. I actually didn't see. I don't remember. That's awfully bad of me. But, yeah, Ricardo, yeah, I think if I had control of his pit strategies, he'd be doing much better this season. And the same can be said for all my teammates I've had. They definitely could be running better strategies. We need to keep them out of traffic. We need to just be more aggressive with the strategies. Our teammates, for whatever reason, we've had the tire wear to really go aggressive with the two softer compounds or doing less stops than the others, but it's not been the case sometimes, so that needs to be addressed, hopefully in next year's game or this year's game or sometime in the future. But yeah, we'll keep plugging away. The car's getting better. Ricardo is showing at least the raw pace that it has in qualifying. Gets a little bit unlucky in the race. I think he lost a little bit of time staying out the extra lap compared to us on the changeover to dry compound tyres. So it's a learning process. Ricardo showed some good promise today with some of the moves he made, one of which on Lando Norris. So not bad, good pace. We'll continue to improve the car. We'll continue to improve the reliability of the car, more importantly. And as we head to the Monaco Grand Prix, I think we'll be near enough on the pace. So looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll see you plenty more racing game content. And until the next one, guys, I'll see you next time.